All right. I'm going to share my screen. Miguel. All right, Jeanette. Can you see my screen, Jeanette? Thumbs up. Good. Awesome. And here everybody comes. All right. Good morning, Jay. All right. Good morning, Haney. Let's see here. Michelle's coming in. And I'm going to pin this screen. All right, I think I got it figured out. Good morning to the November brokerage meeting for here at Houston HomeSmart. Thank you for joining me. As I said, we always record these, so those that are late, those that have missed it, can watch the replay. We don't have any guests today, so you got me. We'll get lots of information to cover and then save room for some questions if need be. But thank you for taking the time to jump on in here. All right, first up, we always start off with the tech spotlight. So I want to hear this real quick. Because HomeSmart offers a lot of tech for us as agents.
Hey, Mari, are
Yes,
you
sir.
talking?
Am I playing music? Yes. Do you hear it?
No.
Oh.
I was hearing nothing, so I thought you were talking on mute.
No, I'm not muted. So if you're not hearing the video play, then we're not getting sound. So thanks, Miguel, for letting me know.
Thanks.
Yep.
Morning, Marty.
Morning, guys. Let's see here. We pause this since we're not getting the sound anyway. We're going to go into the next slide. All right. Just good morning, everybody. Good morning. Sorry about the technical difficulties. It usually goes right into the screen, so I'm not sure what's going on. But anyway, sound. We are looking, and we have our smart partner still. We have our national moving partner, this partner here in Houston, our muscular moving men and storage. We've got our next one, of course, Move Concierge, which calls your clients at closing and offers a free-to-them service to transfer and connect with homes utility services. You can opt out of this if you choose to, but it's one of our smart partners that provides a service. And of course, American Home Shield. That's the three we have right now. So we are looking for new smart partners. So if you have a lender, which we're interviewing lenders now to be our smart partner in the Houston and Texas, all across Texas, looking for inspectors, title reps, attorneys, any other affiliated service providers, email them to me. We'll connect them with our smart partner team, our affiliate team. They go through a process of, do you want to be a part of HomeSmart? Do you want access to our agents? Do you want to partner with us on events? So we have an opportunity to partner with people we want, because we no longer have Minute Mortgage in Texas. So that's wide open. And of course, even though HomeSmart owns Equitable Title, we don't have Equitable Title in Texas. So unless we have the American Home Shield, we have Move Concierge, and the Movers. We have a lot of opportunities to partner with people you know. So make sure you let me know. Okay. Always, every month, we want to welcome the new members of the HomeSmart family. This is the list that joined us in October. I always murder names, so if you're on the call, welcome to HomeSmart. If you're watching the video, welcome to HomeSmart as well. We are rapidly changing things so you can get connected fully. There's an onboarding calls going on now that from the corporate level that talks to every agent that joins us, whether new or they're new in the business or experienced in the business, but welcome to HomeSmart. At the local level, we're doing things I'm going to talk about later about connecting with you from the broker level, from classes and training. There's a lot of opportunities that you can engage with here at HomeSmart. But all of us, please welcome the list of Nuruddin, Ruben, Jeannie, Jose, Jessica, Keon, James, Timothy, Samuel, Carlos, Daisy, Rosa, Christopher, Maria, Terrell, Hatis, Christiane, and Adriana. Welcome to the family. We appreciate you. All right, on that note, thank you for that. A couple things that have come up a lot lately. I get calls, you guys know I answer the broker call. We probably get 100 calls a day at least. And I say we, and I'll talk about that later. Now it's me. And a lot of those calls lately have been from our HomeSmart agents, our residential agents that, hey, I got a client that wants to buy a commercial piece of property or a commercial lease, and I've never done one before. What do I do? I want to remind all of our agents that we have a commercial team. We have HSI commercial, and we have non-HSI commercial agents as well that do this full time. That is always your best option to partner with a commercial agent. Now, TREC requires, it's a new requirement as of about 6 months ago, that any new transaction you do that is not something you've done before. So if you do nothing but rentals and all of a sudden you're starting to do a residential sale, that is a new transaction type for you. If you specialize in Houston and you sell a property in Austin, that is a new geographic location. That qualifies as well. Commercial, if you've never done commercial before and you want to do a commercial deal, TREC has rules that the first 3 transaction types of that type, you have to be hand in hand with the broker, either in a mentorship program, a partnership program, whatever. You have to have supervision, direct supervision for those 3 transactions. So a lot of agents will get a lead with a client. Hey, they want to buy X, a laundromat. They want to buy a car wash. They want to buy a gas station. That's great. But that now requires supervision at a higher level for those 3 transactions. And it's better if we partner you with a commercial agent because the risk factor is through the roof. And on that note, for our commercial agents that are on the call, commercial is wider than residential. Residential, you have condos, you have townhomes, you have land, you have houses on land, you have home. There's a broad range there, but commercial, you have leasing, you have industrial, you have basically it's broad. So each new category requires additional supervision on those things. So make sure you reach out to me if you get a lead. Just know that I will be advising that you partner with one of our commercial agents to get that deal done, to get the supervision so you can get 3 under your belt to do them on your own. That is the best way. But since we're getting which is kind of cool, because we're getting a lot of calls and a lot of leads on commercial deals, which is a good sign for future residential. And yeah, Erin put her number in the chat. She's one of our commercial agents, and she's also one of our mentors. So what a good partner there too when you have a commercial deal. You need we as a brokerage and you need help. So, okay. That said, also on that same vein, and we're getting a lot of calls from our agents and clients asking about property management. Will we have property management in the future? I don't know. Would it make financial sense for HomeSmart to do that in a market that has a lot of rentals? Probably. But for the time being, we do not do property management. We don't have a trust account. HomeSmart does not allow our agents to do property management. So the only exception to that is you can manage your own property, meaning you as a personal owner, not using your license, can rent your own properties out. But you cannot manage properties for a friend, past clients. You can't do it as a business. You can't generate income or not income doing it, because the liability on you and the brokerage is really, really bad. And so we've gotten several now, including a new recent lawsuit against an agent and the brokerage, because the agent was doing property management as a favor to one of their clients. I appreciate all that, but that will get you in trouble. And the problem with that is your errors and omissions insurance does not cover you when you go outside of the scope of practice that your broker is designed for you. So if you go and do property management and get sued, your errors and omissions insurance probably won't cover you, because we don't allow it at the brokerage. Jeanette, question?
Would we, if we're doing something that is out of the Houston area, it's in another city like San Antonio, okay? Would we be paired with somebody who is a HomeSmart agent in that area? Or would it be somebody like in the Houston area who maybe has knowledge of it?
Either one. We have agents in San Antonio, agents in Austin, agents in Dallas that live actually there and work there. We also have agents that live here and work those areas. It comes down to they have experience or not. If they have experience geographically, they can help you for sure.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyway, so just a reminder on the property management, even though it's a good way of making money, it is something that we don't allow because of the risk and the insurance right now. So don't do it from HomeSmart's perspective until we open up a property management company, if we do. All right. We just went through in August of this year all of the forms changes done by Texas realtors addressing the NAR settlement and sort of those type of things. We've gotten a pretty good, a lot of people are still asking, what changes happened, and they're coming awake and asking questions about which forms to do. It's all good. Just letting you know that at this last week, TREC had a meeting and approved changes to all of the TREC contract forms to basically meet the demands of the lawsuit as well. So look for in January an updated form for all of your purchase contracts in TREC and the addendums there. So we knew this was coming, and when they do, we'll update your transaction desk, your dot loop, your zip forms, and of course your offer writing software in RSA. But just want to let you know it's coming. Probably the second week in January, they'll roll them out, or sooner, and you won't be able to use the old form. So if you're writing offers, obviously in the new year, you'll be using the new forms for that as well. And we'll have training geared around that. Heads up, right? There's always changes. So updates and reminders, guys. I'm not sure how many of you took part in the Elevate series. This is Elevate 2024. There were 7 classes. Those are all in your RealSmart Agent download section under Education Video Replays. I show you a screenshot of it here because you have Elevate 2023, which is really good. Those are all those classes in there. And then Elevate 2024, which the 7 trainings at different levels, whether social media, whatever, is right there for your use to review at your leisure. So like over the holidays coming up, might be a great time to catch up on some of those classes. And right beside it there, which will be updated here shortly, but is all the forms changes and how to use the forms. If you have any questions remaining, there's a series of videos to the right of those Elevate series that I've done to help you guys out navigate the previous forms changes. So, all right. I wanted to, a couple things. We want to highlight a couple things that we get so busy, but in your RealSmart Agent back office, if you go into the Marketing Design Center, you have the normal stuff you purchase and for marketing, for agents, so forth. But under Digital Assets, which is just the tab to the right of your homepage there are a ton of really cool stuff. So if you are looking at becoming more of a listing agent or picking up more listings as this market shifts, there's pre-done electronic templates, listing presentations in there that you can download for free. So if you use an iPad or computer or whatever, they're made up for Mac, they're made up for PCs, they're all available for you to use, and it's in your digital assets. So you can just download them and then customize them for your use. And then, of course, there is the hardbound stuff. This is the digital copies, though. I thought it was really cool. So just go into Marketing Design Center, tab over to Digital Assets, and then you have listing presentations, and there you go. Also in that same area, under the digital assets, you have the seller presentation, which is the new guide, the seller guide created by HomeSmart to help you navigate with sellers about the commission changes, compensation rules, and so forth. There is a link there that you can use. You can just use the digital version for free. There's also a link, or you can add to your cart and purchase the printed guides themselves. So this is the companion, if you will, to the buyer guide, which we rolled out about a month or two ago, about a couple months ago. So you have the seller guide with the seller link there, and you have the buyer guide with the buyer link, all under presentation materials under digital assets. So those are really, really cool. You go in and grab those. You can customize them or purchase them, or just use, if you use electronic versions, go for that. Also in there, I found this as well. A lot of times when you're leaving behind a buyer guide, a seller guide, a listing presentation, comps, or a CMA, you can buy folders fairly inexpensively through HomeSmart of different varieties. The white ones, the fancy luxury ones, or red ones there too, that you can put your information in your card and your CMA and leave it behind. And it leaves a lasting impression. So these are things just that a lot of times we overlook, but are available to you to access. We talked about this last couple months. You guys are all doing a great job. Just a reminder that the new HomeSmart disclosure was updated. It used to be called the affiliated business disclosure. Now they've combined it with a wire fraud notice be signed by your client, and the affiliated business disclosure that ends up being a 3-page document and 2 places to sign. That is available in your download section of the Real Smart Agent. So make sure that, yes, in the marketing area, Kimla, you go into Marketing Design Center and then click on digital assets for that other stuff. But right here is in Real Smart Agent downloads. A lot of agents are looking for this. Where do you find this? This is in your, if you go into your back office, left-hand side, go down to downloads and search for disclosure, and it will pop right up. Next up, we've got this. A lot of times we talk about fines and fees and that kind of stuff, and it's not about trying to penalize our agents. We know you're busy. We know it's important, but we get fined as a brokerage if we don't have the documents in when we're supposed to have them in, if we don't have the full transaction file in as well. We've created these forms also available in your downloads in Real Smart Agent to let us know if there's something missing and why. So if you can't get us something signed, the system's telling you you're missing a X, Y, or Z. You can say, I don't have X, Y, or Z because of this, this, and this. This helps us keep in compliance, and so we can show it to Trek when we audit it, and helps you guys stay out of trouble with fines as well. And then late paperwork. But your paperwork is due within 5 days of execution. Obviously, late paperwork comes in different forms. If you've closed a transaction and you're still missing documents, that's late. You will get notices from our compliance team. Make sure you respond to those notices. Most of the time when the compliance team puts a fine on your bill, it's because they've given you notices and you did not respond. So therefore they could fine you. Okay. Also get a lot of calls. In fact, I got 2 this morning already on intermediary. Yeah, as a reminder, it is not recommended to be an intermediary. But Texas allows an intermediary. What is an intermediary? Basically, you're a neutral third party, or the broker is a neutral third party, meaning you can't advocate for either side. So if you are a listing agent and you have a listing for sale or listing for lease, and you have an unrepresented buyer, you have multiple options. The first option is, of course, disclose to the buyer or the tenant that you represent the seller. And if the buyer doesn't have representation, that's the simplest and easiest. We have the agency and intermediary policy and downloads as well to review, so you know this. Usually the best option is just to leave the buyer or the tenant unrepresented. You still do the work, you still advocate for your seller or the landlord, and you still make all the commission. Easy squeezy. Option 2, of course, is when you have 2 HomeSmart agents on either side, the broker automatically becomes an intermediary, so you need a TXR 1409. Okay. Or if you had referred it off to another HomeSmart agent to represent the other side, you would need a TXR 1409 with appointments. The third option is your true intermediary. That's where you have to have a signed agency agreement with both the tenant or the buyer and the seller at the same time. and you modify those agreements to change the fact that you have a fiduciary relationship with the seller and a fiduciary relationship with the buyer, and you modify both relationships with the TXR 1409 and the HomeSmart intermediary notice without appointments notice form, so they acknowledge what's happening, that you can no longer advocate for either side. That's much more risky. It puts your license at more risk. It doesn't really provide any extra service because you can't advocate for either side at that point in time. But so both sides get less service. You can't advocate and give them advice, and you're still, doing the same amount of work. So that is a true intermediate. So I get a lot of people say, I'm representing both sides. No, you're not. You can't technically do dual agency. What you can do is modify your relationships to become a neutral third party. But that is not the primary or the best way to do it. Yvonne, go ahead.
Yes, Mari. Of course, this is only this intermediary only applies for buyers and sellers, correct? Not for a lease.
The TXR 1409 is still for leases as well, because you're still representing. If you have a listing agreement for rental and a unrepresented tenant comes along, the same thing applies. The tenant either stays unrepresented, you refer them off to another HomeSmart agent, or you become an intermediary between the two parties where you have to amend both relationships. So even though, tenants or purchases are the same thing.
I have a question, Marty.
Sure, Diana.
Under that option 1,
Uh-huh.
where you said you only represent one side if you're the listing agent, but you get all of the commission.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
when you say all of the commission, do you mean if you agreed with the seller that you're taking 6%, that means you get the whole 6%?
Yep. So your agreements say the total amount of compensation I am charging is X. So let's say it's 6%, whatever it may be. And then out of that, you said, I'm going to offer up, half of that, 3%, whatever it is, to a buyer broker or tenant broker that brings a client. The seller goes, okay, cool. And then if the tenant broker, it doesn't exist, or a buyer broker doesn't exist, and the buyer or tenant represent themselves, you still have got an agreement for this 6%. So you earn that amount. Now, a lot of agents think they have to represent both sides to get both sides. That's not the agreement you sign. When you represent both sides, you represent neither side, because now you have to amend your agreements to say that I don't represent the seller, I don't represent the buyer, I am a neutral third party and can't give either one of you guidance. That is what you're doing. And so that's where the risk comes in, because now they have to understand that clearly and not make assumptions that you're providing service that you're not, and you're making more money. Versus saying buyer or tenant, I represent the seller fully. He's going to pay me my commission. We've already negotiated that. My duty to you is to be honest and ethical and provide things, but I can't give you advice. I can't advocate for you. I can advocate for the seller only. As long as you're good with that, by signing the TXR 1417, we can proceed. Say, much different conversation. Then it's very clear. Your duty is to advocate for your seller or your landlord. Buyer understands fully that they don't have representation, and the commission is taken care of. Hopefully that makes sense.
Okay.
Okay. Obviously, option 2 is always to work with another HomeSmart agent or have me appoint somebody for the other side. And once again, that would, yes, sir.
Mari, can you please clarify that? Because my understanding is that we will not be allowed to get, in this case, the 6% commission, or any other document will be required with HomeSmart.
Why would you not be allowed to get your 6%, Miguel?
Because basically, when you sign the document, let's say that you agree with 5%, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you are also saying that 3% of the commission will be for the other agent or the buyer's agent. In that case, we will not get that commission. And I learned that from someone at NAR saying that we could probably be sued in the future for doing that. So all right.
You're confusing the two. The buyer tenant rep agreement dictates how much you can get. If you're working with a buyer and it says 3%, you cannot get more than 3% unless you amend it. On the listing agreement, you're agreeing with the seller on how much the total amount they're going to pay for you to sell the property. Out of that, you said you're going to offer X amount. Yes, you could amend it to be very clear, Miguel, but you're entitled to the entire amount as a listing broker if there's no other broker on the other side. Okay. Aaron, you had a question?
In that case, the buyer, I really don't like to do intermediary. I never do. I
Right.
always look for you to refer me with someone. But let's say in that scenario, the buyer has to sign the rep agreement, right?
Okay.
To get that
Once again,
commission or not?
no, wait, Miguel. This is why this is a question that comes up all the time. I should only give you guys one option, but I'm trying to say don't do intermediary if you don't have to. Because if you represent the seller and you have an unrepresented buyer and you clearly let them know you represent the seller only, you have them sign a TXR 1417 acknowledging that you represent only the seller or the landlord, you're covered from an ethical standpoint, from a TREC standpoint, from a contract standpoint, for what you've done. When you get into the intermediary where you actually modify your agreement to allow you to work with both buyer and seller, then you have to have a buyer tenant rep, a listing agreement signed by the seller, a TXR 1409, and a notice from a HomeSmart to allow you to be an intermediary, which ties your hands working with both sides, trying to be neutral. And so once again, don't think about this as a way, the first option. The first option is buyer, are you okay not being represented? Second option is if you're not, I have another agent for you that I can refer you to that you could have full representation. Option three, if you have to go there, is the most risky way and the least service you're providing to either client in the way. So hopefully I'm trying to be as clear as possible. It's an option. It's not the most recommended option. Is the liability higher on an intermediary? Yes. Most of the lawsuits come down because both buyer and seller see that, okay, you weren't fair to one side or the other, and so forth. So Maria, you have a question? Okay, I'm moving on for now. This is all in writing in your Real Smart Agent download section. And the reason I bring it up in the meeting is because it's continually get a question. Try not to do this. That idea is we're going to get a lot more unrepresented buyers. Your job as a listing broker on either the seller or the landlord side is to disclose who your relationship is with. You have an IABS, a TX 1417, and you can provide service to a buyer or tenant at a lower level as long as you disclose. And that's the best way to do it. Okay. This is the form that's in Real Smart Agent. This is the form created for you by HomeSmart to make sure that both sides of the deal, if you choose to do intermediary without appointments, that they must acknowledge they understand what that means. And I would recommend that you as agents read this so you can fully understand what you're actually doing in an intermediary situation. It explains to both sides that their agreements that they signed originally no longer are valid. They're modified and amended to remove all that fiduciary duties that we have to either side. It's tough. Okay. A reminder as well, all your required documents, this will be updated as well after the first of the year when we have the new TREC form with but the numbers shouldn't change, but if they do, we'll update this form for you. The part of connecting with all of you is, staffing, and I'll talk about that in a second, is for those that are new to HomeSmart, we're trying to make sure that every new agent gets a meeting with me or the broker team, that they get an orientation with in the Galleria office on how to access the office, how to use the key, how to access Real Smart Agent as well, more of a friendly connection as well. So we're working on that. It's coming very soon. But any of you that have been with HomeSmart forever that I have not met yet or have not met in person, December is a great time to book an appointment to come in and have a chat. I'm looking forward to that. Reach out to me by email and I'll make some time.
Marty, one quick question.
Beam.
This is Beam.
Yes, last weekend I met one of the listing agents in one open house, and he was saying that in the new form, I have not seen the new listing form. It clearly states that how much the seller is willing to pay for the listing broker, and separately it says that how much they are willing to pay for the buyer broker. So in that case, if there is no buyer broker,
Yes.
The listing agent is not entitled to get 6%. That's what the listing agent was saying.
Yeah. So Beam, I'm your
Yep.
broker.
Yep.
And you just said you haven't looked at the form.
I
Please
have
go
not,
look.
I have not looked
Please
at
go
the form yet.
Beam. Go
Yep.
look at the form, please.
Yeah, sure.
If it says the total amount paid on the first line for the listing is X, and out of the total amount, we're going to offer Y to a buyer broker. That first line does not change the total amount due to you. If there's no buyer broker, you're still due the total amount.
Then what does 4 mean? 5-4 mean, Marty?
Well, all right. Well,
Paragraph 5-4.
All right. Hold on. What up?
In the listing agreement.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Because apparently that listing agent had the discussion with the seller, and the seller clearly said, no, I would not agree to pay full commission if there is no buyer representation. I think it's their discussion.
Yes, and you can do that. So 5B, it says this is right here, without compensation from another broker. If you fill this in, Maria, then yes, you limit what you can make.
Okay, got it.
But you're not supposed to fill that in.
What did you say?
5B is if you fill that in, that means you're not paying another broker without compensation from another broker. This is what you're going to make if there's no other broker. Most of the agents don't fill in B. It's A.
5B.
Yeah, I think now the listing, the sellers are more informed, and they insist that
No, that's not what I meant. I meant 5-4.
5-4. Buyer broker will
5A 4.
broker will train amounts specified in 5A1 broker's fee. If there's no other broker that procures a buyer, including but not limited to a transaction where broker represents both seller and buyer, intermediary, or buyers unrepresented, amounts specified in 5A2 will be applied towards any fees a buyer has agreed to pay broker as specified in a separate written agreement. Okay, has nothing to do with your listing fee.
Okay,
got it.
But
broker will change amounts in 5A1. 5A1 is your total amount for the commission.
Right.
5A2 applies towards what a buyer broker will pay minus what the seller is paying. Okay, we're not putting that. Broker will retain amounts specified in 5A1 as broker's fee. If there's no other broker that procures a buyer, including but not limited to transactions where broker represents both seller and buyer, or buyers unrepresented, amounts specified in 5A2 will be applied towards any fees a buyer has agreed to pay broker as specified in a separate written representation. So if you have an intermediary, buyers agreed to pay you a certain amount for being their buyer's agent. The amount in 5B will apply towards offsetting that amount the buyer owes. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It doesn't change the total amount you're due from the seller for listing. It doesn't reduce it either. So
only during intermediary or when the buyer is unrepresented.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So that means that listing agent probably has filled in that line where it says that if there is no buyer broker, then they are paid only 3%. Probably that's what that agent has filled in.
Yes, this is between you and the seller. If you choose to do that and limit yourself that way, you can, but most don't. Yep.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. That was that lively discussion. All right. New printers, for those that haven't been in the gallery office recently, we have new printers and copiers in the agent room. We also have a new printer and copier in the office space. Crystal is out sick today, so make sure you send her your well wishes. I will be in the office around noon after this meeting today and the rest of the day. But going forward, since we've got some staffing changes, I thought this was in my list here. All right. Well, anyway, make sure that if you're going to pop by, you give us a heads up first. Crystal is there as our agent services as the only staff member. Wanda Devereaux has quit a week ago Friday. So we don't have an assistant broker. We are hiring a new one, but until then, you just have me. And then you are our broker review person. Cecilia Hernandez is on vacation the next couple of days and then several weeks in December. So I'm asking you all to have some patience until we get staffed up and everybody back in place. So as we mentioned before, yes, Tamara, Wanda is gone. Wanda decided to quit and go back to her own brokerage. And we miss her. I miss her tremendously, but yeah, she's no longer with us. Open houses. As I said, this is coming forward. So in December, starting the first week in December, if you are a listing agent and you will need someone to hold an open house, email me the listing details, what time of the open house is, and contact information. And what we'll do is we'll put together a Facebook post and an email to all the agents that cover that area as an opportunity if you're looking to hold an open house, what's available for the coming weekend. So, and they'll reach out to you as the listing broker. It's a nice way for us to connect. Instead of sending out 1,000 emails, we'll send out one email a week saying, here's all the opportunities to service. This is one that we have a slide oftentimes reminding you all that TREC requires that your documents, any executed contract, any listing you have, any sale you have that's been executed, we need to have it in our system within 5 days. Paperwork typically takes about 2 days to sort it. We take about 3 days typically to review it. And then closing sends out your order to pay or your CDA 5 days before closing. So if you have an expedited closing, keep that in mind so we know what to do. If you have a delayed closing, if you have a closing that gets amended to close earlier, make sure you let us know. Otherwise, we'll be waiting for the CDA. All right. The fines, we talked about that already. Compliance will send you 2 emails, typically a notice to fix your paperwork. Most of the fines that we've gotten recently on agents is because they didn't respond to the emails. They saw them, ignored them, and then they got fined. So we don't want that to happen for you guys. If you put a listing in the MLS, it doesn't matter if it's your own listing, property, whatever it is, you must have a listing agreement signed. And then once you have a listing agreement signed, you will get a notice in the system that you've got a listing and you must create a transaction in Real Smart Agent. Chris.
Hey, what's going on, bud? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Awesome. Awesome. Hey, I wanted to circle back. I have not been to the Galleria office, so because I'm all the way down in Surfside. But I'd like to come and visit. My question was, do we have a fob, or how do I get a hold of that? I obviously have to come in person, correct? Or
you got to come in person, yeah. Crystal, our agent services for all agents, for any of our offices, there's an app you can download called iSonus. You can call agent services, and Crystal's the only one that can do it. She can activate your phone to access any of the 4 offices. But it's better if you do it in person, so she can walk you through it and you actually try it on the door itself. So it can be done remotely, but you should come by. Not today, but exactly. Tomorrow or whatever.
Yeah, I actually have a closing. I'm actually going to be kind of in the gallery area tomorrow, so I'll stop by, but I'll give Crystal a buzz first to see what time works best.
Perfect. That's awesome.
Thanks for the information, my man. I appreciate it.
Cool. Thanks, Chris. All right. Staffing, this is what I'm trying to get to here. Obviously, we're looking for a new assistant broker. We've got several that applied before. They're still interested, so we'll definitely reach out to them. We are looking probably for a new admin staff for days like today when Crystal's out, that we have coverage. I've gotten a few resumes in, but if you know some people, send them my way. No broker review. So those, if you have a closing coming up real soon, get your paperwork in so it can be reviewed today and tomorrow. because Thursday and Friday, both I'm out and Cecilia Hernandez is out of the office. So there will be no broker review done on Thursday and Friday. So make sure that you get them in. On Thursday, Friday, Monday, and Tuesday of next week, Kelly Snodgrass, our Dallas broker, will be covering the broker line. So when you call in to get a broker question, Thursday, Friday, Monday, or Tuesday, she will be the one to answer your call. I will be in Washington State for my daughter's senior night, just FYI. And then on the 18th, which is next Monday, just so you all know, the office will be closed. And that's just a staffing thing. Crystal's off, I'm off, Cecilia's off, there's nobody here. So the Katie office, yeah, we'll get there in a second. So the 18th, as far as checks go, as far as the agent room's open, as you guys know, every day, but the actual admin office will be closed on the 18th Monday. Just prepare for that. And of course, that also on Thanksgiving, make sure you guys are all remember your contract timelines. And then Winston, you asked about the Katie office. Yes, we're working on, I've toured several buildings now for moving our Woodlands office. We have not found a place yet, but that's soon. We will be moving the Highway 6 office to the Katy area after that. So we're probably looking in March of next year or whatever. Better place, better location. We're in the Galleria location for at least a year and a half. So don't worry about that one. So just so you know. And Chris, is your hand still up or are you done? You're good. All right. So patience is requested. I'm just saying, all this is that holiday season. We're going to have these times where we're going to be shorthanded. We are shorthanded this week. Events. Tomorrow, for all those that have signed up, we have our next CE class being offered both in hybrid versions. We have an in-person portion and we have an online portion. We've got 25, which is our cap for the virtual. So if you've signed up for the virtual, make sure you're ready to log on a half an hour before tomorrow. 9:30 for the class. We've got 45 signed up to be in person tomorrow. If you signed up for that, make sure you show up early as well. It is down the street, two buildings down at 1333 West Loop South. We have food being provided by a lender from Prime Lending, Paul. We have this class being taught by Ashley, which she's a great instructor, and co-taught by a building rep from Sullivan Brothers Builders. So we have our food provided, our class provided, if you will, and HomeSmart providing the education, and then the rooms being provided by Capital Title. So we have a lot of sponsors this week. That is tomorrow at 10, but be there by 9:30 if you can to get checked in for good food, good education, and free CE classes for all of you. All right. This is the for tomorrow. 45 agents in person, 25 agents online. There's still an opportunity to sign up today if you do it quickly. Virtual attendees, you got to be on time, got to stay on for the duration, you got to stay on camera, you got to sign in and sign out. No driving, no talking on the phone or working, or you will not get credit, just so you know. And those that show up, please, in person, please show up on time and stay the whole class. If you are more than 15 minutes late, 30 minutes late at the most extreme, you won't get credit either. So make sure you show up on time. This is the room we'll be in tomorrow, just so you all see it. It's gonna be a nice training room. All right, the next and last class of the year.
How many hours is this class?
That's 3 hours, Diane.
3. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. That brings up the next on this note here. That's 3 clock hours provided to you by HomeSmart at no cost to you. The next one will be a 2 clock hour class, the last one of the year, December 11th. This date may change. It may end up being virtual only. I will keep you guys posted. The room availability is the issue here. So this is, I want to underscore this, the HomeSmart has provided 40 clock hours to our HomeSmart agents this year at no cost to the agents. We've provided 15 different clock hour opportunities. We've also I have added 75 hours of non-CE instruction and training and counting through contract planning class, through the Friday lunch and learns, through the broker review, all those things. This is what we continue to do in 2025 as well. But this is the stuff that hopefully adds value to each and every one of you. All right. So next year, we are planning next year's classes, and we'll keep the same cadence, probably the second Wednesday of every month, probably 10 to 1 as usual, probably doing the hybrid as much as possible. So we have options for both in-person and virtual, but we need to know what you want classes on. Of course, we're going to do Legal 1 and Legal 2 because it's always required. Of course, we'll probably do a Code of Ethics, but that leaves 9 other classes that are wide open. So make sure that you send in your tips and ideas. I know someone wanted to do a probate class as well, so we'll probably add that for 2025. Just a reminder that just a few weeks ago, we had our top 15 lunch for the third quarter. As you all know, third quarter ends up being, was that June, July, and August? Was it April, January, February, March, April, May, June? I'll say July, August, September. This is our top 15. We had a great lunch over at the Rustic across the street from the office. Our top 15 winners had a great lunch, a great conversation, and lots of referrals. And we had a special sponsor that day as well with Jeff Brokerage from the Champions Commercial Group. All right. Next up, then there's more pictures from the top 15 lunch. Like I said, we had a good time. Congratulations to all of you. You all got invitations for our holiday party, which is on December 12th. It's coming up in a month from today. Yes, a month from today, we have our HomeSmart holiday party. It will be you plus a plus one. It will be at the Roxy Room in the conservatory over in the Galleria. It's kind of a food hall / bar, if you will. And so sign up, RSVP, so we know how much food to buy and how many tickets and so forth. And we got the food, the room, the venue. We're working on music and door prices and that kind of stuff. So if you like party planning, reach out to me as well. But yes, December 12th, Thursday, 7 to 9 will be our holiday party for this year. Diamond Awards are coming up next year. We're probably looking at late February, early March this year, a little later than normal. Many of you, this is your year, January 1 to December 31st, gross commission earned. So the Diamond Awards are based on how much money you make. And so if you make $100,000 or more by the end of the year, you qualify for a 1 diamond, at $200,000, 2 diamond, $300,000, 3 diamond, and so on up the road. We've got many of our agents have already qualified and are qualifying. So right now we have 45 that have already made at least 1 diamond. We have 15 more that are on track to make it. 22 of you still have a chance to make it if you have a good fourth quarter. We have 2 in the almost 5 diamond range, which is almost 500,000 in gross commission earned. And we have 11 that have made over 200,000. So a decent year, especially in light of all the changes that have gone on. So I want to congratulate all of them, but there's still time. We've got basically a month and a half to close out every deal you can to make the list and join the party. And we're looking at for Diamond Awards, probably looking at the aquarium downtown and their banquet rooms for music and awards and then maybe even the aquarium touring. So it should be a good time. And they have officially announced a date and time for Growth Summit coming up. I'm not going to play this now because I remember the sound wasn't working, so that's fine. We're going to keep on going. I will email the slide deck out so you can all listen to the video yourself. But this is all like a highlight reel from last year's Growth Summit in Growth Summit. So anyway, this year's Growth Summit, which is the company's national sort of conference to kick off the year, is going to be in October of next year. So it's a different time and different location than it's been in the past. It will be October 13th through the 15th in Scottsdale, Arizona, and it will include a tour of the corporate headquarters for all of you. So, and some other activities. So if you get a chance, it's the HomeSmart's 25th anniversary, a big celebration. It's just a 2-day event in Arizona, so a much shorter flight. And they'll send out registrations really soon for this. Okay, let's celebrate a couple of you guys, agents, as we end up today. The top 10 teams as far as transaction sides for the month of October, leading the way is the Young Real Estate Group with 8 closed transactions in October. The Royal Elite Realty Group with 5 closed transactions. Then we have H-Town Properties and Redbird Real Estate Professional Team, both with 2 closed transactions in October. Congratulations. As far as teams, as far as volume goes, we have lots of teams at HomeSmart. We're geared up for it. If you're thinking about making a team or forming a team, reach out to me and Agent Services. But our top teams in October, the Texas Luxury Group leads the way with 3.75 million in volume, followed by the Young Real Estate Group with 3 million, the Bay Area Group at 1.5, Redbird Real Estate Professionals team at 1.2, the Prop 5 team at 1.1, and the Royal Elite Group at 1.1. And there's many others that are right about 900,000 as well. That's volume. That's the size of the property sold, if you will, the dollar amount. Top 10 agents in October. These are the volume agents. So this, once again, it could be one house or it could be 10 houses, but this is the price point being sold. Wendy Oxman at 3.7 million. April Fontenot, 3.3. Aaron Willis at 2.9. Nice job. Ma Garcia at 2.8. Rania Keltner, 2.3. Eves Youngest, 1.8. Lizette at 1.7. Jose at 1.6. Tracy Frederick at 1.5, and Leonard Williams at 1.4. And we've got another 10 that were around 1.1, or if you will, in October. So October was a good month for a lot of our agents. Now, the agents for units. This is the number of closed sales. It doesn't matter what size. It could be a lot sale, a condo sale. It could be a home sale. But Princewell Zebulon closed 7 transactions in October. That's a good month, Princewell. Leonard, 6. Jose, 6. Eves, 5. Lizette, 4. April 4, Travis 3, Spence 3, Paulette 3, and Lorena 3 transactions closed in October. Very well done, all of you. That's a good month. Always. Hold on. Boop. All right. Top 10 agents and sales year to date. This is one we keep track of it, just so you know the running leaderboard, if you will. These are just units sold. These are homes, condos, whatever, sold properties, not including rentals. These are just sales. And the board's changed and the leaderboard has shifted. So you still have Jessica leading the way at 31 closed transactions, but Jose Portillo at 30 on her heels, Leonard Williams at 27, Hugo at 21, Ignacio at 21. Then we have Alejandro, Faraya, Fafu at 20, and Lola and Henry at 16. That's a lot of transactions during the year. Well done. And it's not over yet. That's the leaderboard. And then lastly, this is where you qualify for your Diamond Awards. The leaderboard here has shifted as well. Faraya's moved way up the board. So right now, these are not final numbers as well. I know many of you have checked. If you run reports, this is probably 1 or 2 transactions behind. So just so you know, but running total so far, Jessica Lee is leading the board. Lizette Labarca, Faraya Qureshi, Henry, Sheena, Leonard, Don, Ma, April, and Hugo are all having fantastic years in 2024. Now, finish strong. I want to see where those numbers end up at the end of December. So congratulations to each and every one of you and all of you that are joining. I do believe that next year is going to be a better year for real estate. So I'm looking forward to taking advantage of that here at HomeSmart for each one of you. All right. Next month's meeting is going to be on December 12th, the same day as our holiday party. So it'll be in the morning. It'll be virtual. And then right afterwards, we'll get ready for the holiday party. And we're going to have a party the night away over there at the conservatory at the Roxy Room, which should be a lot of fun. I'm going to get rid of that one. All right. Even with discussion around intermediary and compensation, which is always a lively sport, we ended around on time. So any questions? I mean, literally, we need staffing. We need another assistant broker. Wanda was absolutely fantastic. She had a lot of stuff going on in her personal life, and I give her all the blessing in the world. But we need somebody with her experience, with her ability to organize, to come in and help me out, because we are better with someone like that. So if you know somebody, if you are licensed and that you are a broker and you are interested in fulfilling that role, I'm a pretty easy guy to work with, I think. But the job entails leading the mentorship team. The job entails taking the lead on these event planning things, and of course, working on the phones and the broker emails and some of the one-on-one training. So it's a big job, and they're big shoes to fill. So, Laura, did you have a question? I think someone raised their hand.
Marty, this is Beam.
Hey, Beam.
Can we do the open house for a listing by the different broker?
Yes. This comes up a lot. It's a good question, Beam. Can you hold an open house for a different broker? Let's say a listing broker from, let's say, Remax, and
Yep.
they want you. Yes. That now I would advise you to get permission from their broker that they can do that, because once again, the listing agreement allows that broker to be held unliable, right? There's a hold harmless clause in the listing agreement for things that happen on the property for the listing broker and the listing agent. That contract doesn't cover a buyer broker from another brokerage. So that's you as a buyer broker or you as a agent that wants to hold an open house have to understand that. If you do an open house for a listing broker from HomeSmart, their listing agreement covers HomeSmart and therefore you. So there's a little bit of a risk, but yes, it's allowed to do so. I would get permission from their broker to hold it, and then you're good to go.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. I like to make sure you have the whole picture there. That the reason why we say yes or no on these things is usually to protect your license or the brokerage license as well, and protect
Sure.
you and your business. So there you go.
Sure. Thank you.
Welcome. Well, I appreciate you all very much for joining me today on this brokerage meeting. I'm going to head to the office there in the Galleria and wish you all a very, very nice day. Laura, you can have the last question.
Hey, Marty. So in regards to the office, like, I guess